once you know the organization's goals, strategy, structure, the staff, the system will eventually follow. You'll have to, kumbaga, map it out based on how you want the company to grow in relation to the employees that you've hired or you will hire in the future.
So the next question is, do you believe in setting aside a budget for further studies or continuing education? And if they find a good digital marketing class, for example, do you believe the company should help them cover the costs?
Yeah, of course. I've had companies that I've worked with, even Zagana right now is doing that. Yeah, as
Yeah.
an employer, I think it is a wise decision to invest in your employees, similar when you invest in a new equipment or upgrade your equipment, your systems. It's the same thing. It pays off eventually. Again, I have this quote before, di ba, na parang, or I think this is somewhat a conversation between, between a CFO and a CEO. The CFO was saying, why do we have to invest for these people and then they would leave us? Then the CEO says to the CFO, hindi ko naman sa inaano yung CFO. It's just a fictional thing, okay? So I'm just making this point. The CEO then mentions that, well, it's better that we invest in them and they leave rather than you don't train them and they stay, right? So I think that's a bigger problem for organization. Now, on the flip side of it, and again, as an employee, I would also challenge you, as someone that's working for an organization, set aside money also for yourself. Your employers would not always have that budget for you. And if you rely on your employer to just, invest in you, then you're in big trouble because they also have problems on their own. You have to also set aside for yourself to upgrade, upskill yourself. That's what I did as well. And here's a little secret. The ROI is immense. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough to say that a mere buying a book and then eventually reading it, the 500, 600, the 1,000, it's the ROI is immense.
Yeah. And it's not fan fiction book. It's a personal
Yeah,
growth.
yeah. My suggestion is buy that book. That I know of a book that's really good, yung CEO at 22. So I've read that book. That one is a good read. So it's a very ano naman. It's not if you're starting off a reading, I think you should start reading that book. It's an easy read.
Thank you, bro. By the way, guys, CEO 22, if you want a copy, just get it from my site, Lazada or Shopee. It's there. Jeff's overselling it. It's but
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. I read it. I read it. So
all
it's a
I
good
hope for
book.
it to do is add value to you guys. But sana marami kayo matutunan in my journey from being almost kick out student in college with a very bad outlook in life to founding my own company at the age of 22. So thank you for bringing that up, brother. And I guess my take on this question is I do believe in setting aside that budget, but I also believe, because I'm talking with a lot of entrepreneurs here, if you're going to set aside budget to train your people, if it's pretty expensive, like you're going to certify someone, I would suggest that you negotiate a lock-in contract period with them. So, for example, if you're going to pay for a certification worth X Y amount, I would suggest that you say, can we do a bond lock-in wherein para mo siyang binabayaran on a monthly basis for 2 years, pero hindi ko na siya ikakaltas sa'yo. Right? Naka-bond ka lang. Right? And for me, that works. Or if kung gusto mo siya ikaltas, it's completely up to you, right? Nasa usapan nyo na yan. Kung gusto mo siya ilibre, all the better. Of course, the person would feel much better about that and having the bond. But if yeah, it's really up to you how you're going to negotiate it with your people. But I do believe 100% in training people and upskilling them and even certifying them. In SEO Hacker, we actually have workshops and a lot of seminars, ngayon webinars that are free for our people. And a lot of them I personally do myself. I'm a certified John Maxwell speaker and coach as well as an R&D master certified. So I give it to them for free. My wife's a certified strengths finder coach. So she gives it to them for free. She coaches them actually one by one. Medyo mahirap na yung ginagawa. It's not for me. Sabi ko, grabe ang tagal ng isang one-on-one coaching. So it's very
Yeah.
valuable as well. So we give those things to our people for free. We do invest in them. 100% believe in this. Yeah. Thanks for the
Yeah,
question.
that's why I charge whenever I do my coaching. Kasi matagal talaga siya. It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. 100% agree. We have a question from Anna Lopez, aka Mitch. How can one overcome shiny object syndrome in learning something that's beyond your current role? Oh, good question. That's a good question.
In learning, how can one overcome the shiny object syndrome in learning something that is beyond your current role? I'm not too familiar, Sean, with the shiny object
Parang
syndrome.
ano yan bro eh, parang I want to learn that. I want to learn that. Kahit na hindi naman ganun
Yeah.
ka-relevant sa ginagawa niyo.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, and I think this is a lot of the candidates, even the rec reports I had in the past, I've experienced having this one. Even here in Zagana, to a certain extent, no, you would want to have a kumbaga, try this out. Probably this one is good for me and so on. And you mentioned, ang galing naman na segue dito, Sean, kasi coaching really helps on this one.
Yeah.
The coaching kasi sessions would usually, and this is what I would always also advocate for leaders in the organization to have, yung coaching skills. You have to have that kind of interaction or engagement with your employees wherein you would ask provocative, thought-provoking questions that would raise awareness, that would, challenge their thoughts, so that it would always align to what they want to achieve in life, rather than, oh, ang ganda nito, yun nga sabi mo nga, yung shiny object, oh, this looks nice, this looks like, it's something that's interesting, and then all of a sudden you've, spent one whole year accomplishing nothing. I think the coaching part would help your employees figure out for themselves, not you telling them, that this is something that aligns with what they want to be in the future, and that would help them avoid this kind of scenario as well.
You know, Mitch, you're gonna lose it someday naman when you're growing older, eh, di ba? Pag 50 ka na, you're gonna lose that.
Yeah,
So we
true.
all are gonna lose that, right? So we come to a certain age where we just want to get comfortable in our ways. That's why may kasabihan nga na you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And
I refuse to I refuse to believe that, Sean. No way. I
we're
don't
not
want to be an
old,
old
bro.
dog.
We
I don't
all
want to
know
be
you're
an
not
old
old.
dog.
You're not that old. Yeah, you know, shiny object syndrome, it's more because you have not found, for me, you haven't found your burning why in
Mm,
life.
mm,
Because if you find that burning why, and what I mean by burning why, it's it's your big, you find out the reason why you're born. You find out the
mm,
reason why you're put on this earth. It's because of that one burning purpose. When you find that out, and it could be like two or three things. Pwedeng hindi lang siya one thing, right? Like for me, it's running my business for the glory of God, and it's also making sure that I give to others and I give to God and I give to the church. It's also making sure that along the way I share God's kingdom to other people, such as what I'm doing now. The reason why I'm able to do this podcast is because I have a business that can actually pay for pay for the show and the editors and everything, right? So those are a lot of burning whys for me, and so that's why it could be more than one thing. But if you find it, then all those shiny objects suddenly fade away, right? They
mm,
just lose
mm.
their luster because these are the things that are super important for me. Or it could be one thing. This is the thing. This is the thing, and I've found it. It's my burning why. I'm gonna focus on this. Suddenly, they all lose their shininess or their luster, and you're not gonna be
Ag-
after them anymore. You're only gonna be
Yeah,
after anything that's related to your burning why. And
no,
so,
agree and agree to that, Sean. And to add to that one, galing. You purpose, when you have your purpose, kasi, you know, opportunities will always be abundant. Well, seemingly abundant. There will always be so many things that you can probably take on. And with having a purpose, you would find out whether an opportunity is truly an opportunity or it's just a distraction for you.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's a very key thing that you would have to figure out. And by the way, just a word of caution, because some people would say, "But Jeff, it's so hard to identify." I totally agree. It's a work in progress. You would have to, but again, being hard or challenging to get it does not give you an excuse not to start and look for your purpose, or at least in our case, I think, I don't know if I've shared this with you, Sean, before. It was Simon Sinek who popularized, start with why.
Yeah.
I would say we shouldn't start with why, we should start with who, because without the who first, our identity precedes our purpose. Who we are determines why we are in this world, and I guess that goes as well for other things in life. I mean, a computer is a computes because it's a computer, right? The who,
Yeah.
or the identity of something or someone precedes the purpose of. You mentioned your purpose. I'm sure the reason why that's your purpose is because you were created in the image of God. That's
Yes.
our proof. Therefore, everything else, our talents, our skills, our the things that we can do, the passion that we have, all falls into place because we were meant to be reflectors of the person who created us.
Really, really good stuff, right? Know who you are first. That's where you're gonna derive your why from.
Oh, the
That's
why. Yeah.
completely right. That, and one of the saddest things in life is when you have an identity crisis. It could come midlife,
Yep.
it could come quarter life, diba? But it's one of the most confusing, saddening things in life, and that's why you see people who have these crises in their lives, midlife, quarter life, that they also don't know what they're supposed to do. They also don't know
Yes.
what their
Yes.
purpose is, right? Because it's exact what you said is exactly right. Your who precedes your why. Sino ka ba talaga? Then you're gonna know what your purpose is. So, Mitch, I encourage you, maybe get in touch with Jeff. He is one of the top 100 Filipinos to follow on LinkedIn.
I know you were supposed to be there as well, Shana. I think you just
And I'm not so
no.
I'm not so inspirational on LinkedIn. I'm more a digital marketer there. So, but yeah, so Jeff is definitely a coach who can help you out, bring that,
Yeah.
maybe help you figure out your burning why, and maybe at the same time he could also help you find out who has to be,
Right.
who your identity really is. No? So